which are the body, how the clubbing of income is done, how the set off and carry forward of losses is done, what is the purpose behind each mechanism, why they are, why such structures prevails. Now we are going to go ahead with the tax authorities. Okay. So when I say tax authorities, tax authority is they are the government bodies and the government authorities who are responsible for implementation and enforcement of the tax laws. Okay. So they work under the Income Tax Act 1961. So tax authorities see, the tax authorities are the bodies who are responsible for they are the government authorities who are responsible for the implementation and enforcement of the tax laws in India. And they work under the Income Tax Act 1961. So in this specific class, we will learn about the role and function of each of the officers of income tax, not only the role and functions of each officers of income tax, but also how do they work, what is the structure or hierarchy in which they lie. So all those things we will be covering in this particular class. Okay. Uh, the hierarchy of the the hierarchy of the authorities, the functions of these authorities, the role of these authorities, and how essential these authorities are. So every aspect of this we will be covering. This is an important class. This will fetch you understanding of how the entire tax authority functions. Okay. And what is the role of each of these bodies and each of these officers. Now, before we take up the subject, let me share my screen. So this is my screen, and I believe my screen would be visible. The screen is visible to all. So my dear students, this is the screen that I was to share with you. Income Tax Authority, this is your unit number 8. This is what we will be covering today in the class. See, the first is the introduction given. Income tax authorities are the officials that are appointed under the Income Tax Act 1961. So basically, what is their function? These authorities or these government officials, they are responsible for administering and enforcement of the tax laws in India. Okay, so basically, they are the people who are who work for the implementation of the tax laws. Okay. Now a hierarchy is being given. hierarchy of the income tax authority. So in a order, in a sequence from top to the bottom, we will be going. Okay. So first we will see the topmost authority or the topmost officer or the topmost body, um, which plays their role. Okay. So see, this is the hierarchy of the income tax authorities. The first comes is the Central Board of Direct Taxes. Okay. Now this CBDT, this works under the Ministry of Finance. So basically income tax department itself is under the Ministry of Finance. So each of these body will obviously be a part of the Ministry of Finance only. Okay. So CBDT is a apex body, the highest body. Okay. We can say the topmost authority, the topmost of authority. So what is the rule? What is the basic function of the CBDT? Okay, Central Board of Direct Tax. We refer it by short abbreviation, that is CBDT. So what is the basic function of this body? The primary function of this body, CBDT, is to frame policies. Okay, to make rules relating to taxes. Okay, they make the rules and they control the entire tax system of the country. They control the entire tax system of the country. From time to time, they issue circulars and instructions that are required to be looked after by the uh, tax authorities, lower tax authorities. So Central Board of Direct Tax is the highest body. Okay, this is the supreme body, or we can call it as the apex body. So this body, the Central Board of Direct Tax, this works directly under the Ministry of Finance, and they are basically they are responsible for framing of policies, and they also issue circulars and notices from time to time, which are required to be looked after by lower level of and the authorities. Uh, Okay, so basically, in short, if I want to say what is the primary role of CBDT? So CBDT basically is responsible for framing of policies. They don't deal directly with the taxpayers. Okay, CBDT doesn't deals directly with the taxpayer. The primary role of the CBDT is to frame the policies. Okay, so they are just the role of CBDT is restricted to the framing of policies, issuing of circulars. So time to time they issue different circulars which are required for implementation. Okay. Then comes the next body. Okay. So CBDT is the topmost body, and then we have the uh, top high level. We can say this is a high level control. Okay, DGIT, that is your Director General of Income Tax. See, in some places you will come across a Director General of Income Tax. He is also referred with the uh, uh, Chief Commissioner. In certain books, you will also come across with the name of Chief Commissioner. So they are one and the same. The Director General of Income Tax or the Chief Commissioner, they are the senior most officer. Okay, this is the senior most position or the senior most officer. Now, what is the role of the DGIT? Okay, DGIT or the Chief Commissioner. See, this DGIT or the Chief Commissioner, they control a specific region or a area. Okay, a particular jurisdiction. Okay, they control a particular region under them, and they are responsible for supervising and administering the lower level of officers and lower level of bodies under them. Okay, so basically they look after the implementation and supervision. Okay, implementation and supervision. So they specifically control a particular region. Okay, they control a specific specific jurisdiction, and they are responsible for the implementation and administering of the lower level of officers and lower level of bodies under them. Okay, so they are the senior most officers of the income tax department. Then we have the Commissioner of Income Tax. I believe this idea basically prevails among common men. The Commissioner of Income Tax, he is the IRS officer. Almost all these officers are the IRS officers. So Commissioner of Income Tax. Okay. So what does he do? What is his role? So Commissioner of Income Tax. See, we can call him as middle level authority. Okay, so this DGIT is like your topmost authority, and then we have Commissioner of Income Tax. We can consider him as like the middle level authority. Now, what does this middle level authority does? So basically, he controls the assessing officer. Okay, he controls the assessing officer. He is also responsible for giving approvals to the assessing officer. Okay, he is also responsible for giving approvals to the assessing officer. And if there is a um, if there is a false orders issued by the assessing officer, so he has also the power of making revisions. Okay, he can do revisions of those orders. So he basically, when I say revision basically means corrections. So Commissioner of Income Tax, the Commissioner of Income Tax is responsible for controlling the assessing officer. He controls the assessing officer. Assessing officer is the key player in this. Okay, he is the one who is responsible for the computation of the tax liability. Okay, he is one who is in direct uh, direct touch with the assessing officer. Is someone who is the key player. Okay, and the tax, he is directly concerned and related to the taxpayers. Okay, so if any orders being falsely issued by the assessing officer, so it is the Commissioner of Income Tax who has the power under the Income Tax Act 1961 to revise the orders that has been falsely issued by the assessing officer, and he will approve the orders also. The orders of the assessing officers will be approved by the Commissioner of Income Tax. So approval of the orders of the assessing officer also comes from the Commissioner of Income Tax. Okay. So basically, we can consider him as the middle level authority. So in short, if I want to simplify entire of his role, yeah, okay, if I want to absorb, what does he do basically? So basically, he do controlling and correction function. Okay, so for the DGIT, I told DGIT basically does implementation and supervision function. Okay, Director General of Income Tax, basically, what is his role? In short, he does the implementation of policies, and not only implementation of the policies, he is also responsible for the supervision. Okay, so he handles a particular region, whereas the Commissioner of Income Tax, the role of Commissioner of Income Tax is controlling the assessing officer, and not only controlling the assessing officer, but also the correction work. Okay, which is also called as the work of revision. Then we have deputy director, or in some books, you will also come across deputy commissioner. Okay, both are one and the same. So what is the role of deputy director in the income tax department? See, now when it comes to the deputy director, or sometimes they are also called as the assistant commissioner. Okay, in different books, they have been referred with a different name, but all means the same. You call them as deputy director or deputy commissioner. Okay. So basically they are the supporting, they are in the supporting role. Okay. They are, we can call them as supporting officer. Okay. Or assisting officer. Okay. They will assist. Okay. Uh, they will assist in investigating matters. Okay. Investigating matters relating to taxes. So, and they also sometimes handle appeals. Now, when I say handle appeal, they put the departmental, they do the departmental representation. Okay. Uh, they, they represent the opinion or view of the income tax department. Okay, to the tribunal. So if any matter goes to the tribunal, so they are the one who will keep the side of the income tax department. Okay. So they represent the income tax department in tribunal as well. So they are the assisting officer. They always remain in the supporting role, and they help the senior level officers. Okay. They basically play the role of assisting, supporting the senior level officers in conducting investigations, matters relating to the income tax or taxes, and handle appeals. Now, when I say handle appeals, that means they they represent the departmental side in the tribunal. Okay. So, in short, if I want to summarize the role, the role of the deputy director is supporting officer. We can summarize it as supporting officer. Okay. So far we have covered few bodies. So which is the topmost body in the for the income tax? The CBDT is the topmost body under the direct taxes, under the income tax. So it is under which ministry? It is under the Ministry of Finance. The entire income tax department itself is under the Ministry of Finance. So it is obvious that each of the body or each of the officers are also working under the Ministry of Finance itself. Okay. So this is the hierarchy. This is the topmost. Then comes your DGIT. Then comes your Commissioner of Income Tax. Then is your Deputy Director or Deputy Commissioner. Okay. Then we have Assistant Director. Okay. Now, who is your Assistant Director, or in some cases they also being called as Assistant Commissioner. Okay. Deputy Commissioner or Assistant Commissioner. See, here it has been mentioned separately. They are the same. Okay. Who are the assistant director or assistant commissioner, entry level officer? So once you clear your exam, okay, of UPSC IRS, this is the entry level officer. You become an assistant commissioner, and then slowly with the years of service, you get promoted to different roles. Okay. So this is the entry level officer rank, assistant commissioner. We call it as assistant commissioner. So they are one and the same. They will do scrutiny of returns. So the returns that are being filed by the SSCs, the returns will be scrutinized by the assistant commissioner, whether they are true or fair or not. Okay, so the assistant commissioner will do the scrutiny of being filed by the SSCs. Okay, so and they are the entry level officer basically, and all of this, uh, the role is the scrutiny. Okay, scrutinization of the returns filed by the SSC. That is their primary role. Okay, so they do also support the higher level of officers, the seniors officers under whom they are working. Then we have assessing officer. Okay. Now, this is someone who is a key player and who is in direct, who is directly concerned with the taxpayer. Okay, so assessing officer is the key player, and he's one to whom we are more concerned to. As a taxpayer, I will be more concerned to assessing officer. I will be more in touch with the assessing officer. Okay. He's the most important authority. Now, what does he do? What does he do? What is his role? See, computation of tax liability is one thing that he does. Okay, whether the whether the whether the tax filed is true or fair or not, that is one thing he will check. Okay, so of computation of tax liability, and whether the tax, he will decide the tax, he will decide the actual amount of tax. Okay, he will determine the actual amount of tax, and in matters where he sees certain lapses, he will also issue notices to the taxpayers. Okay, so notices will be issued by the assessing officer. So if there are any lapses in the filing of taxes, or if there is any issue in the filing of returns, so he will issue notice to the taxpayers. Not only issuing notice to the taxpayers, he is the one who has the authority to conduct inquiries. Okay, inquiries of the SSC. Um, then he is the one who also has the authority to impose penalties. Okay, so he will be so he will be responsible for imposing. He has the authority to impose penalties if any if any false or any issues is discovered. Okay, so if he discovers anything, if he discovers that there is a tax evasion being discovered or tax avoidance being discovered, so imposing penalty is also is under his authority. So this is the main job of the assessing officer. And as an taxpayer, the taxpayer will be more concerned with the assessing officer. He will be so this is his role, because we directly deal with him as a taxpayer. We directly deal with the assessing officer. So we are more interested in the assessing officer rather than all the rest of the authorities. Okay. So to when it comes to dealing, the assessing officer is the one with whom we directly deal, or who he's the one officer who directly deals with the taxpayers. So as a taxpayer, we are more interested in the assessing officer. Okay. What is his role? His role is to do the actual computation, determine the actual tax liability of the SSC. If there are any lapses, he is responsible for conducting inquiries. Then, if any wrongdoings are discovered, then he is responsible for imposing penalties on the SSCs. So his role is quite crucial in the entire hierarchy. If you look into the entire hierarchy, his role is quite crucial. Then we have tax recovery officer. So see, what is the work of the tax recovery officer? The name itself indicates what kind of work he is responsible for. Okay, so tax recovery. So what is his job? His job is to recover the dues, tax dues. Okay. See, the tax recovery officer is responsible for recovery of the dues. So if there are any evasion or avoidance is there. So it is tax recovery officer who is responsible for recovery of the amount. Okay. Now we can call, so he has the power to attach the property as well. Okay, he can attach the property as well for recovery of the taxes. So that is also one thing, and that is why he is an officer to whom a taxpayer is more bothered about. Okay, because he has the power to attach the property in case of recovering of the taxes. So in order to recover the taxes, he can attach the properties as well. Okay. Then comes uh, so tax recovery officers are basically are basically responsible for the recovery of the tax dues, uh, attaching the properties in order to recover the dues, then auctioning of the properties. Okay, for suppose if the taxpayer is repeated defaulter, and after repeated notices as well, he is not responding to the notices. So auctioning of the properties or attaching the properties in order to recover the due is also his responsibility, and he has the authority to attach the properties as well. Okay, so he is a powerful officer. Okay, he holds a key power. Then we have income tax inspector, or we call it as inspector of income tax. So basically inspector of income tax is the field officer, ground level officer. We can consider him as the ground level officer. Now what does he do? He collect the information of the SSCs. Okay, whether the tax filed or the figures presented are they genuine. Okay, authenticity of the taxes that has been filed. Okay, so he will check the authenticity of the taxes that has been filed. Okay, so he is the field officer. He will do the investigations as well. Okay, he will he will investigate whether the tax filed by the or computed by the SSC is true or fair or not. Okay, and he will also do field work surveys. Okay, surveys. So for example, he will collect the financial informations through his network of banks. Okay, so he will build up a network with banks to diagnose the actual tax liability of the taxpayer. So he's as like how in colleges the principal will do inspection or the board will do inspection. Uh, so the same way he is responsible for the inspection work, inspection duty. Okay. So he is the field officer, basically the person who is working at the ground level. Okay. He will collect the informations of the SSC, whether the amount that has been disclosed in filing of tax, how far they are true or fair. Okay, so he is responsible to investigate. He is responsible for investigating that. Okay, and for this purpose, he will visit the actual ground, the ground zero, and he will do the enquiries. He will have his network with banks, with financial institutions, wherein he will bring out the informations of SSC, and this is how he will contribute. So each of these officers, if we look back, each of these officers are doing key function. Okay, and they are responsible uh, for the recovery of the taxes. Okay, from the SSEs. See, basically why these officers are needed or why these bodies are needed. Okay, what is the reason behind designing all these hierarchy? See, we have three terminology. One is tax evasion, one is tax avoidance, and one is tax planning. So the people who are doing tax planning in order to reduce their tax liabilities, that is not a offense. Okay, it is not an offense. It is something which is within the uh, defined limits of the law. So for such people who are in tax planning, for such people we don't require such bodies, such supervisory body or such bodies who require to monitor them. But we do also have individuals, peoples who indulge themselves in tax evasion and tax avoidance. Now, for such people who basically uh, indulge themselves into tax or who find out loopholes in the system to avoid taxes or with mind, uh, with motive, with intention that they do avoid income tax. So for such people, we do need this structure. We do need these officers. Okay, and these officers are responsible for for bringing out such defaulters uh, under the tax bracket. Okay, and that is why these authorities play a crucial role. Okay, basically for the people who are tax evaders. Okay, so you might come across the income tax body is raiding out at several places. They do raid. Okay, and why do they raid? The what is the purpose of raiding? So the purpose of raiding is basically to recover the tax from the concerned person. Okay, whenever there is a information, whenever the income tax authority gets the information that there is a tax evasion, so how do they go for recovery? They do raid. Okay, after investigation, they do raid, and through raid, they try to recover. And sometimes they attach the property as well for recovery of taxes. So this is this is why basically these bodies plays an essential role there. Okay, so now let's see who is responsible for their appointment. Okay, so CBDT is responsible for the appointment of these authorities. Okay, so see each of these authorities appointed by the Central Board of Direct Taxes. Okay, and each of these authorities are controlled by the each of these authorities are appointed by the central government by the Ministry of Finance, and they are controlled by the CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes. Okay. Now, what power do these income tax authority has? So basically saying they have all the powers as equivalent as court, but not actually on par with court, but they can summon a person. Okay, they can summon a person. Summoning a person means they can call a person for justifying their side. Okay, then they can examine documents, they can do search and seizure. Okay, they can conduct raids, they can also do they can also freeze assets, they can seize assets. So they are very powerful. Each of these authorities are very powerful. Okay. Recently, the income tax, sorry, the income tax has raided recently in uh, Kejriwal case, okay, wherein the ED has raided, the IT has raided. So, okay, so income tax authority raided different places and properties of Delhi Chief Minister. Uh, so then they can call for information. They have the power to ask for information. So, however, almost all these things we have covered. Okay. So they can call for information not only from individual, from companies as well. So they have the power to call for information. Okay. So they can also go for reassessment. Reassessment means if they discover something fishy, okay, something fishy in the returns, so they can go for uh, reassessment of the tax filed. Okay, so that is called reassessment, and they can also reopen cases. Okay, reopen cases and do reassessment of the taxes. So each of these authority has their jurisdiction. Okay, so a income tax commissioner in Hyderabad, he cannot raid in Assam. Okay, so each of these authorities have their jurisdiction, and they can function within their jurisdiction. Okay, so each of these authority have their specified limit. They have their defined jurisdiction, and they cannot behave beyond the defined jurisdiction. They will have to work within the defined jurisdiction. So you must remember the hierarchy. So when we talk about the income tax authority, the topmost body is the CBDT. Okay. And after the CBDT, it comes the DGIT. Okay. Director General of Income Tax. In certain places, he will also be referred with the name of Chief Commissioner. Okay. Both are one and the same. Then we have Commissioner of Income Tax. See, if we could remember the hierarchy, it becomes easier for us to remember the functions and roles of each of these authorities. Okay, Commissioner of Income Tax. So next comes your Commissioner of Income Tax. He is also a essential authority here. Then under Commissioner, we have Deputy Commissioner. I told you already that he plays a assisting role, supporting role. Then under Deputy Director, we have Assistant Director or Assistant Commissioner. See, this Deputy Director itself, in some books, they are also called as Assistant Director or Assistant Commissioner. They are one and the same. Okay, so we can merge these two. Deputy Director and Deputy Commissioner and Assistant Director and Assistant Commissioner. Okay, they doesn't require two separate headings. They can be merged. Okay, these two headings can be merged. Deputy Director, Deputy Commissioner, and Assistant Director, Assistant Commissioner. Then assessing officer. See, to whom we are more concerned with, we are more concerned with the assessing officer. Okay, because he directly deals with the taxpayers. Okay, he is the one who directly deals with the taxpayer. So we are more concerned with the, as a taxpayer, I am more concerned with assessing officer rather than the rest of the authorities. I am more bothered and focused on assessing officer. And his role is very essential. His role is very crucial. The reason being, uh, he is a key player in the entire hierarchy. He is a key player. Okay, just a second. Just a second. Is my screen visible? Just one second.
Yes, sir.
Kalpana?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just one second. So, yes. So this is your unit number 8. Okay. So you must revise it once. Until and unless you revise it, you will not be able to retain it. Okay. See, the main aspect of this chapter is to make you aware with the powers and functions of each income tax authority. Now, the primary question that arises after the, what is the outcome of this class? You tell me one thing, do these tax authorities are responsible for making of rules relating to taxes or implementation of the rules? Are these tax authorities responsible for making the rules relating to taxes, laws relating to taxes, or just the implementation job? See, if such a question is asked to a student of commerce, he should be able to answer it. See, the laws relating to taxes are not made by these authorities. They are not having the authority to make laws relating to taxes. They are just the bodies or the individuals or the people who are responsible um, for the implementation of the rules. Okay, so just they are just involved and concerned with the implementation job. Okay, basically laws are framed and laws are made at the level of parliament. Okay, by the government. Okay, so the government is responsible for making the tax laws, and all these authorities are responsible for the successful implementation of those tax laws. Okay, whether you talk about CBDT or a Director General of Income Tax or Income Tax Commissioner or Assistant Commissioner, okay, or say field officer, okay. So each of these people, each of these individuals, officers, these officers are just responsible for the implementation of the tax policies, okay. And basically they are the one who are responsible for keeping a check, okay, keeping a check so that the government could minimize tax evasions. Okay, the main aim. See why these authorities they work. What is the reason behind these authority exist? The reason behind these authorities existing is so that there is a mechanism that can exist for having a check. Okay, so now we have next unit as well, wherein we will be covering. Just give me. We'll take up. See, each of these chapters are interrelated. Day one, after completing our basic concepts of income tax, we learned clubbing of income, and after clubbing of income, we went for the set off and carry forward of losses, and then yesterday in our class we have learned computation of income tax or computation of gross total income. Okay, and then the rounding off mechanism, rounding of tax liabilities, rounding of gross total income. See, every chapter is in such a sequence that they are interrelated. They follow the other. Okay. So in order to understand the next chapter, you must have command over the previous chapter.
Sir,
Now next chapter, yes, Kalpan.
sir, you have date list, sir, in online classes. When will be there? I don't know, sir. How to join? When to join classes? Schedule is there, sir, with you.
Yes, schedule is there with me. Just 1 second. One,
I I
one
don't have,
second.
sir. That's why yesterday I have not joined class.
Okay, just 1 second. Don't worry. Just 1 minute. Okay. Uh, See, if you drop your number, I will share you the link directly so that you don't miss the class and you can join comfortably.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
In the chat box, you can drop your number.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you can drop your number. I will share you the link I will share you the link personally, and you can join directly. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And
Okay, sir.
don't miss the classes from here. Okay, at least if you
Ah, okay, sir.
continue few of the, okay, at least if you will be able to attend few of the classes from here, no, some
Ah, yes,
basic
sir.
idea of the subject you will get.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Okay. I have
What
sent,
is
sir.
your good name?
Kalpana, sir.
Kalpana. Okay. So I took your number. I will
Ah,
drop a direct message to you. You can join, you can connect directly.
okay, sir. Sir, you
Okay.
have list,
So
sir.
again,
Schedule.
a schedule I have. Again, I have a class tomorrow, and then after tomorrow, again, day after tomorrow, I have. So two more classes I have tomorrow
Ah,
and Monday.
okay, sir.
Sorry, not
Oh,
Monday, 17,
Tuesday.
18, 19. No, tomorrow I have a class. Tomorrow I have a class, and then after, it is not there in the schedule. I don't know after tomorrow. But tomorrow I have a class. You do join for tomorrow's class because we'll try to cover up as much as possible
Okay, sir.
tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you are in the uh, okay. So you are not joining the rest of the classes, or only income tax class you are not joining.
All classes I am not attending, sir, because I don't have a schedule, sir. Date when will we start? I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So I will share the link of my class
Okay, sir.
to the number that you have shared to me. Okay.
Oh,
Don't
okay,
worry.
sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Did you did you get the class today? Did you learn anything?
I have joined late, no, sir.
Okay. Do you want to see yourself as income tax commissioner?
No,
No.
no.
See, income tax commissioner is equivalent as IAS officer. He is a IRS officer, Indian Revenue
Oh,
Service. Okay.
okay, sir.
So you need to crack the UPSC civil service exam in order to reach out to that position, in order to uh, become a IRS officer and join as a deputy commissioner of income tax. So so people will be scared of you because uh, people are more people especially who has good income, they are more bothered with the income tax department. So today we learned about all these authority. We learned about income tax commissioner, field officer, assessing officer. See, each one of these are officers. Okay.
Okay,
So this is easier one. Okay, this is easier one. Even though if you take the textbook and if you just go through once, you will understand. You doesn't need a teacher for this. This is simple subject. This chapter is very simple. Okay.
okay, sir.
So for today, we will stop it here, and then tomorrow again we will connect, uh, and we will go ahead with the next chapter. Just a minute. Your next chapter is assessment procedure, and then we are left up with the appeals and revisions. Okay, appeals and revision and collection of taxes, lapses and consequences. So we are just left up with last block 5, okay, and unit number 9 and
Okay, sir.
block 5. So maybe
Okay,
in tomorrow's class we will close up everything. Okay, we'll close up
sir.
everything.
Important
You
questions you will give, sir.
if you seek important question, I will share the important question to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
However, you have messaged your number. I will share the important questions as well.
Okay, sir.